Hey guys, it's crazy I'm not in my truck making a video, right? My mom actually has the kids for over a week, so I get some free time. And I thought about making a live video, but I'm so like overwhelmed by the energies that I didn't want to like put myself in a weird position, just for my own personal well-being. You know what I mean? And that was like one of the things that I wanted to do, was just kind of connect to my higher self and just ask some questions about what's going on. Because like even people who I know who are like the calm people in my life who, flow through contrast pretty easily and aren't like the anxious type or anything like that, like they're like on edge, and I'm just like overwhelmed by watching other people be overwhelmed because I'm sensitive and I'm an empath, and I know a lot of people who follow my channel are too. I feel like we usually resonate with and follow the channels of the other people that are like us, or we resonate with their story, or their gifts are similar to what our gifts are. I know that's how it is for me, and over time that's changed. Just since I started my spiritual journey, like you feel these shifts in the way you feel about things, and how your perspective will shift and change. If you're doing the work, it will. If you are still believing and feeling the same things that you felt like years ago, then maybe you're not looking at every aspect of yourself that you could. It's like not seeing your own stuff, because we're constantly expanding. That's why we came here. That's what the universe's goal is, to infinitely expand, and we are part of that expansion. So when we stay in the same place, constantly, never changing, never trying to learn new things or skills, or do new things that will, set our soul on fire. It doesn't even have to be like hobbies. I was talking to a friend about like living in different states, or living like you don't have to go through trauma in order to expand and grow. Like just living amongst a different culture, or many different cultures, it creates this expansion in you, because you're learning something new, you're doing something new, you're putting yourself in a new environment. It's weird. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but I watched this movie called Barefoot on Netflix, and it totally triggered this huge, like I was sobbing, huge emotional reaction in me, because of like something that happened in the movie that related to my own trauma. But it's very interesting how spirit will lead you to things in order to create that emotion in you, in order to release. And I think a lot of people, they don't like that feeling of the release so much that they resist the very thing they need, this contrast that's coming into their experience. They resist that, but that's the exact thing that they need. And so they try to control their environment. They try to like get a reins on whatever's going on in their life, instead of surrendering, kind of flowing and seeing where the universe needs to take them next in order to expand and grow more. So I was like, I didn't even want to, I was just feeling like, I'm still feeling like a little bit, you probably like feel it in me. I'm not like as calm as I normally am. Don't worry, I still pray and, protect this space and stuff before I do my videos. And usually I just want to be in this super crazy, motivational, inspirational space, because that's kind of like the vibe I've always given and I've been called to do. But a lot of times I also just have to recognize that the journey isn't about just trying so hard not to feel or to feel good and not to feel the bad, but sometimes feeling those emotions is so necessary in order to release some of it, because we've been suppressing. I mean, half the stuff we forget about because we've just suppressed it for so long and pretend it didn't exist, that it's just so stuck. Like it's just compacted down. All that energy is compacted down inside of us. And we need these things. We need spirit to lead us to these things in order to trigger that feeling again inside of us. And then just not even judging it. Just being like, oh yeah, I know exactly where this came from. This came from when I was neglected as a child, right? And then I'm just going to let it come out. And it was crazy because last night when I was watching the movie, I was just like, I just want to enjoy a movie. I had just got home from a long weekend. I was tired, did a 2.5 hour drive. I was ready to just chill and watch a movie. And so I was trying to suppress it when the scene came up that was like triggering me. I was just like, okay, just hold it together for the sake of watching the freaking movie. But then I was like, no, like I just got to let it go. So I just fucking hit the pause button and just let it go. And I felt good after that because I didn't say, this is me having a shitty day. I didn't judge it. I just knew where it came from, and it felt so good just to let it all come up. And then I finished the movie and I'm in a great mood and I feel fine. I don't feel like this huge depression or anything because I understand what it is. And that's what becoming more conscious is. It's actually recognizing what things mean. And that when someone comes at you or projects at you, understanding that it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with these things that are coming up, but they're not conscious enough to recognize what those things mean. So if you don't understand what it means, how are you supposed to fix it? How are you supposed to address it? How are you supposed to make a change? You probably don't. So you stay in this cycle of doing the same old things and getting the same old results until it gets so loud you can't stand it anymore. And that's when people get these huge dark nights of the soul and spiritual awakenings start happening and their whole life changes. Everything, relationships, jobs, where they live, like your whole life explodes when you go through a spiritual awakening. And so right now, like there's a lot of people fresh in, and there's a lot of us that have been doing this a long time. And guess what? We still are having those emotions triggered because these frequencies that are coming in are so high. They're asking us to meet them there. They're asking us to raise our vibration. And how are we supposed to do that if we don't release these things that we have suppressed for so long and create that space to raise the frequency? Like you're so dense, you're holding your frequency down. If we're supposed to meet these frequencies there, people who have done a lot of releasing and done a lot of the shadow work, they're navigating this a little bit more easily because they can recognize when because it's not because they're not being triggered. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with them recognizing what it means. So when you flow instead of try to control, it becomes a much easier experience because you're not saying, I am that thing, because you know that your spirit is connected to the all that is. And so you are a part of the all that is, the love frequency, source energy. And if you can understand that in every scenario where you try to say, I am this avatar who's being treated this way, or I'm a victim in some way in life, I'm stuck in my marriage because I have kids and I can't leave, and it's like I'm stuck in this job, whatever. There's an excuse for everything. It's at the end of the day, no matter how valid your reasons are, it's all rolls back to sovereignty, taking responsibility for where you're at, no matter how much you could validate that victim, that position as the victim. It doesn't matter. It all comes back to recognizing you're co-creating with this universe and that everything's always working out for you, even when that contrast comes, because it's coming for a reason. And if you can recognize what that reason actually is, that's where the growth is. If you don't recognize it, you're probably going to go back into the cycle and have another challenge come up, some more contrast come up to say, hey, are you going to recognize it this time? If you do, well, then you expand and grow. If you don't, well, then it'll come back around. Maybe it's with a different person or a different job or a different situation, or maybe it's with the same people. But it's going to keep coming around until you decide you want to recognize what it actually means for you in terms of your expansion. So what I did today, just a little bit ago, was I kind of just connected to source. And a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but when I do automatic writing, it is like my easiest way to connect, especially if I type, because it's very like riding a bike. So it gets, the energy can flow through you in an easier way. I want to do it more. You see how I have this time. So now I can sit down and connect to spirit because it's so quiet. I'm so aware. When you're in the silence and you're just walking around the house, like, especially if you have kids and you're used to being around stimulation, it's like it really draws you in. And I want to share that space with everybody, but I am very sensitive to everyone's energies, but I still want to come through because I feel like we need to support each other right now. So what I did was I just asked a couple questions, and then I waited to see what came through. So the first question I asked was, is everybody doing all right out there? The energy feels heavy, like people are being challenged. And the response I got was, it's only a challenge if your energy is a match to resistance. The ability to flow through the energy is how one can gauge the amount of vibrational variance between where they are and where they want to be. An open heart is the access point to the higher frequencies. Approaching moments with the consciousness and embodiment of an open heart reveals a flow of high vibrational energies that match the frequency that is being emanated by the individual. So basically, it's about how you feel. We know that's what the vibrational frequency is. That's what basically they're expressing right there. So after that, I was like, okay, so we need to open our heart more. That's how we're going to raise our frequency. So how do we do that? So what can we do to expand our hearts more is what I asked. And what came back was, let go of control. There is nothing to do but feel good. It's matching a frequency. There are still many who are reaching externally for joy, acceptance, love, and so on. That inner child is so neglected. There are many who feel unsafe as a result, living in a survival mode that has become more and more pronounced as the darkness of the masses reveals itself to all. The solution is sovereignty. True unconditional love says, I am always taken care of. I am connected to the source of all that is. I reach into my heart, the collective oneness of love, and draw from it the ideas, skills, and resources needed to flourish in this life. My light shines so bright, it cannot help but radiate co-creative love and abundance through all space and time. I'm a walking miracle, and it is unnecessary to control anything when I recognize my value, my true connection to the source of all that is. And I just thought that was beautiful, because basically all they're saying is just let go of trying to control everything. We have to let go of what we think life should look like for us. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand that we are constantly operating under this old program that we think is reality. And it's only reality because we're choosing to allow it to control our lives. We get to decide what our reality is at the end of the day. So what does that look like for you? And do you have the courage to actually take those steps in order to make those changes, in order to create that space for more love, expansion, and abundance in your life? But we can't fall into victim mode. Right now is very easy. That is what I'm feeling from people. It's like they're just irritable. They're just like, what the heck? Like, I didn't ask for any of this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a good person. I'm like a good citizen, right? Law-abiding citizen. That's like, I'm innocent. Why is this stuff happening to all of us? Majority of people out here have the best of intention, right? Deep down, we all have the dark side, and that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing everybody's ugly sides. That's why there's such a division. There is no side to choose. We have to recognize that everybody is where they're at, accept them for who they are, and then be that light. Show them this is how you can generate happiness. This is how you can generate love in your life. And always going to come back to pointing them back to themselves and how to become sovereign. That's why part of, I feel like, my mission is to show people how I did it, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, in terms of like creating my garden and my greenhouse, and just like really embodying sovereignty, not just in a spiritual way, but in connection with nature, but really hands-on, grounding this new reality into our space. And that comes with connection. And with that connection, that's where we acquire those skills and those ideas. And we are a magnet to the people that need to be in our lives in order to co-create with us. It all falls into place. But if we're still trying to control our environment based off of old stale-ass programming, how can we create that space? Right now, a lot of people are sitting on a blank canvas with this victim mentality. Like, okay, like, why does it feel like we're still in the freaking holding pattern a year later? And it's because we just have to like be able to match these frequencies. And once we do, we'll see how simple it could be if we just surrender. We do that trust fall. Because like, just like if you do an obstacle course with a group of people and you have to do that trust fall and really fall into their arms, like we have to do that with spirit. We have to do that with the universe. We have to recognize that it doesn't matter how bad the situation may seem in our lives, like there's a reason. And can we find the gift in it? And the gift is the recognition of what it really is. And it's not you being a victim. It never is. It never is. But if we choose that, it's just the ego's defense mechanism, survival mode. That's all it is. It's just wanting everything in the environment to just be good so we can feel good. But that has nothing to do with how you feel good. It's not about, yeah, it is about cultivating a beautiful environment. But how do you do that? It's about connection. Connection is how you are the frequency. So it comes to you. And you get to choose what frequency you want to embody. So if it's like victim mode, it's a lower frequency, and you'll just attract more situations for you to perceive yourself as a victim in. And until you choose to perceive it differently, then it will remain the same. So, but that's really just what Spirit wanted to come through with today, is just release the control and allow Spirit to work those miracles into your life. Because you can become a walking miracle as you co-create with the universe, but it's only if you allow that to happen. And that means you have to release the reins that your programming says that you need to control every little aspect of everything and just be in the moment and see what happens. It's so scary. What's going to happen next? No, I don't want to plan what happens tomorrow. I want to see what happens. That is so scary to most people. We've all been going through school and work and life being so planned, so controlled. And that shit does not feel right anymore. And people are so uncomfortable. It feels extra not right because you got to do this or you got to do whatever, right? You have to keep selling your soul in order to be a part of the program. And it's like the safety zone is the program. So a lot of people are willing to do that, whatever it takes to feel safe right now. It's just survival mode. Sovereignty is when it's like, okay, I know I have to take these steps in order to take care of myself. And this is most logical anyways because it's connected to nature. It's better for my health. It makes more sense. I don't even need this stuff over here. It's actually inverted to what my natural being desires to begin with. And once you start to walk in that frequency, it's like, it's easy to see what it is when something comes up. Because, oh, I see what this is. This is a trick for me to go back to my programming, my comfort zone. But it's really not even that comfortable because you're just selling your soul. You're just sitting in your quote unquote comfort zone, the place that you've always known in your programming. But at the same time, you know that feeling of sitting somewhere you don't want to be, but you feel trapped, blah, 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 I'm a victim. We're never, ever that. We always have a choice. We always have our free will. And we always have a choice to decide what the gift is in that contrast. So I love you guys. Release, control, flow. And I'm going to try to make a lot of videos this week. Maybe a few or even go live. Today I just wasn't feeling it to go live. But yeah, I feel like support is needed. It's like a little heavy on me feeling a lot of other people's energies. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm just like the type of person who wants to make it better. So I'm like, are you okay? Or, just like, it's difficult. So it's good that I have this space by myself because then I'm not feeling it so much. It's not in my face. So take care of yourself, protect your energy. If you need to set up some boundaries, or create a safe space for yourself as you're feeling vulnerable, totally do that, But all right, guys, I love you. Have a blessed rest of your day.